Welcome to Techcybo.com. This is part 2 of 3-tier architecture C# Windows tutorial. In this video I will show you how to insert values to database with 3-tier. So let's create a registration form to insert employee details. So in the last video we created the basic structure. Once you created the basic structure of 3-tier project, it's easier than other methods. If you are not yet watched previous videos, either you watch the video or download the project files, links in the description. This is important. Now let's get started. If you skip the last video, download the project file, extract the zip file and open the project file. Open form1.cs. In property window change the form name to employee registration. From the toolbox add a label and change its font property to bold. To get the user inputs add a text box. Rename our label text to name, and change the name property of text box to TB name. Now copy and paste the label for gender and change the text property to gender. Add to radio button to select the gender. Change its name to RB male and RB female. Now follow the steps to design all the controls. To get the date of birth use DateTime Picker. For address change text box to multiline. To select the education, use combo box. For password text box, change the password char property to asterisk, to hide the password. Now align all the controls. Finally, add a button to insert all the values to the database. Now our registration form is ready. Now open dbconnection.cs from DA layer. You can see the connection string to connect our project to the database. So let's create a new database for our project. Open SQL Server Management Studio. Click Connect with your user credentials. Create a new database, and name it as Employee Data, click OK. Now you can close the SQL, and in Visual Studio open Server Explorer. Right-click on Data Connection and select Add Connection. Select your server name and type your username and password. After that, select Employee Database from the list. Click Test Connection to test the connection and click OK. Now select your data connection and copy the connection string from Property window. And paste it in the SQL connection object. Type your password and add a /. In connection string, initial catalog is the name of your DB. Now create a new table to store the data in DB. The first column is for ID. ID column is used to identify each employees. And make ID column to primary key and set is identity is yes. This automatically fill the ID column, make its data type to int. In this way add 7 more columns to store our form datas. Now save the table with name EMP data. Now open informations.cs from BE layer. This class file is used to create all the variables that are needed for various database operations. Create a public string variable to store the name. In this way create public variables for our controls. The main principle is, whenever you need to add a data to the DB you need a variable to store the data. So once you completed the informations.cs page look like this. Open form1.cs design view. Double-click register button to add a button click event. In the last video we discussed that, every form you added in 3-tier architecture must reference both the BA and BE layer. So if you are not, make sure you add reference in the GUI layer or the form layer. Now use both BE layer and BA layer in the header section of the form, this is important. Create informations object in the partial class. In register button, first we need to specify the variables to store the data and their controls. Type the object name informations class with a dot, you can see all the variable that are declared in the informations class. This is basically linking controls and database, and the variables is the intermediary to store data. The next control is gender, so user only selects a value, because it's a radio button. So this needs a if statement to get the value. So create a variable gender. Add the if statement to get the selected value. Like this link all the variables and controls. Now open operations.cs from BA layer. Operations class includes all the DB operations like insert, delete, update, select. Open form1.cs and create a operations object OPR. In button click event, create a new method in operations class for inserting employee data. Hover the mouse at the method name. This will shows an option to create the method stub, or you can manually create methods in operations class. Change the data type from void to int, because it's a DB insert method, so it returns an integer value. Add the namespace for data and SQL client. Create a SQL command object cmd. Here we use command is text, so I will discuss the stored procedure method in upcoming videos. In command text write our insert query. To create SQL query easily, right-click on your table name and select New Query. Select your tables. Change type to insert values. Select all columns except the ID, because ID is auto-generated column. Copy and paste the query. Now add the variables to insert values. The order must be same as the table structure. The variables are placed in single quote, double quote, and plus sign. Add all the variables. Now the insert query look like this. Now return the value with execute non-query method that are created in previous video with SQL command object cmd. Now open form1.cs, assign an integer variable to the insert method, to check whether the DB insertion is successful. Now run our project. Fill the details. Click Register. This error caused because of the date-time conversion. To resolve this, open informations.cs. Change the date of birth data type to string. Now run the project. Now our project executed successfully. And values are saved in table. That's it guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to our channel and give a thumbs up, it helps our channel a lot. Thank you, see you in the next episode.